Broketober is upon us, menacing like a malevolent solar eclipse signaling the end times for your bank account. As such, the Nobodies are hard at work keeping up with the latest and greatest releases. So this video will be about buying time until the team finishes the real video we wanted to release. Ada's adventure into fun-time Spanish zombie land. So it's up to me, John Nobody, to remind you that we are, in fact, the Nobodies of Gaming, and we're still here. I managed to dig through a few games from the PS5 store that I thought might be worth investigating, and what I found may interest you. So no intro today, let's get right to the games we're featuring. Fight and Rage, House of the Dead Remake, and Marvel's Midnight Suns. We don't think we're spoiling, but proceed at your own peril. You've been warned. Before we get started, like and subscribe to the Nobodies of Gaming to support us in our ongoing mission to bear witness to the latest and greatest video games the industry has to offer. And now, let's begin. Fight and Rage is a little beat 'em up from indie studio Seba Games Dev. One thing you should know about John Nobody is that he can give you the good hands for free. And any beat 'em up with this good in art style and excellent game mechanics is gonna get my attention. The story is about the evil biker mice from Mars invading Earth looking to enslave humanity, and our heroes Gal, Ricardo, and F. Norris are fighting back. If this sounds like a good story for a beat 'em up, then forget about it, because that's not the story. What is the story, you ask? Who the hell knows? There's definitely a story here, and tons of character oozing from the action on screen. But if you can figure out what exactly is happening here, you're a better investigator than I am. But when you get this kind of frenetic wall-to-wall beat-em-up action, who cares what the story is? The game is clearly an homage to the old arcade beat-em-ups of yore, most notably Final Fight, which explains a little of the art design and the fighting styles of our heroes. The game runs crisply, and it wouldn't surprise me if it was operating at a cool 60 frames per second. The movement and attack speeds are rapid and responsive. The combat allows for very deliberate and creative decision making when surrounded by enemies. Controls consist of attack and jump, with directional inputs to unleash some alternate normal attacks, and a dedicated button for special attacks, which also have alternates. The enemies are vivid, creative, and certainly informs of the world you're in as you fight through hordes of ghouls. The boss fights all seem naturally connected and relevant, with even an instance where the boss executes an innocent prisoner. Clearly a mature action beat-em-up. The gameplay modes appear to be numerous, with one battle mode immediately available, where you have a Street Fighter style one-on-one fight with the selected characters of your choice. Speaking of selectable characters, the game allows you to unlock other characters as well, which I assume includes the enemies you fight in the arcade story mode. I only spent a couple of hours with this game, and I can already recommend this game to anyone that loves a fast-moving, crisp-feeling co-op beat-em-up with a mature theme and excellent style. Best of all, it appears that this was the work of just one man over at Seba Games Dev, and one man to compose the bitching soundtrack. There's nothing more to say here. John Nobody approves. It is the Halloween season, and we're already scheduled to do a zombie-themed game. So when I saw the House of the Dead remake in the sales bin, I had remembered I hadn't given this series a proper look over. Anyone who's grown up on arcade shooters are instantly going to know the name House of the Dead because of the razor-sharp light gunplay and the ridiculous grindhouse over-the-top horror tropes the series is known for. This being a remake has some very, very large shoes to fill, as I personally remember how unforgiving the original was. I was able to make it all the way to the end of the game in one sitting, and mostly because there's no limit on continues. The game opts instead to allow the player to keep going after you've used your in-game coins, and starts to deduct from your total score when you've run out. Personally, I'm a fan of this, as it allows for the player to see all of the game. Some purists would scoff at this, but I for one enjoy this quality of life change. As for the game itself, the House of the Dead maintains a semblance of its pedigree, but I'm sad to report it may not be better than the original. House of the Dead has always been the kind of series that simply hits the perfect balance of over-the-top B-movie horror and outlandish nonsensical story. I feel that this remake falls short of its predecessors as far as art design and musical direction. I will say that for a game that doesn't employ light guns, the controller setup is very competent, and I was able to survive the unrelenting onslaught of zombies, mutants, monster bugs, and some weird unfinished magical final boss. I also enjoyed the picture of all the scientists as a way of recording who you were able to save and who died an agonizing, ironic, and cruel death at the hands of the very monsters they constructed. At the $8 to $9 price tag, I was able to purchase this. You may enjoy a little co-op shooting action with a friend this Halloween. However, at full price, I can't say you're going to get the value you're looking for. Special mention to the Horde variation of the story mode that came included in the game. I wish there would have been something like this implemented back at the OG House of the Dead. John Nobody cautiously encourages you to buy while on sale. Now admittedly, I did not spend too much time with Marvel's Midnight Suns, but I believe I was able to get the gist of what this game is offering. The appeal lies in the excellent presentation coupled with decent story and a strategy-based card system. I personally can't say that I know much about card-based systems, but I know good combat when I see it, and this game is fun. It is, however, a large time commitment because some battles will take 10 to 20 minutes to resolve. Again, I enjoyed all of my time fighting, but the progress for the fighting is geared towards making this game a 50 to 60 hour experience. The other appeal of Midnight Suns is the team building mechanics when you're back at the Abbey, their base of operations located in Salem, Massachusetts, to converse and build a relationship with some of your favorite Marvel heroes. While you would imagine that Midnight Suns will bring you a far more dark and mature storyline, the story and dialogue are geared more toward young teens and doesn't push the envelope too far, despite the inclusion of very mature heroes. You do get to create your own character called the Hunter that will be your avatar while you move the story forward. This game was a victim of last year's Broketober, and the Nobodies weren't able to commit any time to it. But that's not to be held against Midnight Suns. If you enjoy your Marvel heroes and want to see them go to work with a deck-based card system powering their combat, I can safely recommend you give Midnight Suns your time and money at a discounted price. Thank you again for joining us here on our journey to investigate the latest and greatest games, and for helping to buy us a little time as we get this fledgling operation going. Remember to like and subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you want to be informed as soon as our newest video is out. Remember, when you're cruising the bargain bin of the PS Store looking for something to get you by during Broketober, nobody's watching.